Welcome! If you've made it here, you are well into the shadows. This is the elephant graveyard of Pride Rock land, known as YouTube. You've strayed far away from Pride Rock, well into the elephant graveyard, and you're hanging out with Rich with unlimited cards. I'm a nobody. I wanted to put out a video. I was thinking about this and how this is gonna. There's a certain piece of this whole thing that our presidency is doing right now with the BBB, right? The big busty bill. And I was looking at a certain segment of this thing, and it has to do with the gambling. So apparently, and I might get this wrong, but apparently you can write off losses in your gambling to offset the gains, which is something you can do in the stock market too. It's actually a strategy that a lot of people use. But I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, number one, let's go through who are the type of people that gamble, right? I mean, I'm sure there are pretty wealthy people out there that gamble, but generally speaking, people that are gambling are people that have lower capital. They're trying to get bigger capital. If someone with a ton of money is just throwing their money down to make more, they're probably one of the stupidest people alive. I mean, when you have a ton of money, if you're going gambling, it's really got to be just for the fun of it. And you're probably not doing it very much. I don't know. There's so many different possibilities of people out there. It's probably, there are probably people that just blow their money, or who knows, maybe they made it because they made millions in the casino or whatever. But I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that you can write off the losses, right? So who is that appealing to? Well, I mean, richer people, sure, but richer people don't need to gamble. So who needs to gamble? People with lower capital. And now you're incentivizing that they can write off their losses. This incentivizes people to gamble more. And I think this is a bigger thing than a lot of people are playing it out to be. Frankly, if you're someone who really likes gambling, chances are you have lower capital out there. Sorry to say it, it is what it is. I mean, there's a rush to it, but if you do it like on a regular basis, you're trying to find a hope and dream, and now there is some kind of avenue that helps you towards your hope and dream, which may never come, right? That's one thing we need to think about is if you're throwing all your money down, you lose it all, you can't write off anything because you made no money, right? You're just spinning the wheel. You're taking a chance, right? Like this. This shelf is really bare, by the way. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. With people who gamble, they end up losing it if you do it for a long period of time. And now there's all this excitement with people who are part of this world who know that they can write this off, which is going to enable people to want to go gambling more. It's an interesting concept I was thinking about, because if you have more gamblers, if you have more people that just are willing to throw their money away for large gains, the world becomes more volatile. And I think it really speaks to just what's going on with Magic right now. With Magic, you have like the vintage cards that are not doing so well at all, right? The blue chips, as people call it, of the stock market of cards. And vintage Pokemon, I hear, is not doing that well as well. Because people are into the newer stuff. Why? Because there's a gambler's premium, there's a chase to it. Like with Final Fantasy, when you have 77 chocobos, people are going to run for that. And they are willing to throw any bit of money to try and hit a $30,000, $40,000 card. That is a great return. We just have to spend time and think about how this is rewiring our brains. Who's a part of this? Because ultimately, it's just going to create more opportunity for people that are wealthy and doing well. As all the people down at the bottom feeders, whatever you want to call them. I'm neither a bottom feeder, nor am I like a very wealthy person. I just like throwing my videos out here. The people, the bottom feeders, right? We're all human. They are the ones that are going to throw their money away. And it's going to eliminate them from the market. They're not going to be a part of it anymore. And then this is when you start seeing like downturns. This is when you start seeing weakness in markets. As people just throw their money away and it gets taken by a larger entity that has larger capital. There's an interesting thing going on lately where there have been like a few spikes in the vintage market, and there's been just like a lot of solidarity, a good foundation. The reserve list is going up a little bit on a few cards. Frankly, I don't really agree with the fact that we're on a bull run. I've seen a lot of people make videos about it and they're excited about it. I think a lot of people are going to be excited that reserve list cards are going up in Magic, the older cards. But in all reality, it's a small uptick. And I've looked at the cards that are upticking, and it seems like they have a certain theme, right? So that's the big thing about the reserve list is when people buy into those older cards, especially if you're a player, generally it's probably because some kind of mechanic happens. So like, for example, I think one of the cards that have been going up is Replenish, and there's been a lot of stability. And also the part that I'd like to put out there is with Wilds of Eldraine, Enchanting Tales, and with, let's see, Bloomburrow too. I mean, there's an enchantment theme. So naturally, a card that meshes with that can make like some kind of commander deck is mostly where these cards go. It's going to start pushing up because there's just not that many out there. And that's what creates these spikes in reserve list buyouts, things like that, because people are trying to buy into the next thing that's going to spike, right? It's kind of like spinning the wheel. And you see people buy 100, 200, 500 copies of a card, and they're just trying to make it. As we get more people that are excited about this, the pain grows. And it's invisible at first because it looks like people are doing really well. As time goes on, though, you're adding more and more people to the bucket to just completely crash the system. Are we going for a crash? Are we, that's not what this video is about. We're not going to crash. Everything's not doomed, nothing. But you have to really think about like what leverage does. You have to think about like what gambling does. You have to think about these things in like the long-term side effects. And this is where it's worth actually having, like a more stable position, being more patient and growing your wealth versus trying to jump the ladder. Psychologically, here's what kind of happens. If you have a loss, well, you lost money, right? And if you have a win, you win money. It's that simple. But if you win, psychologically, you're going to want to win more. You're going to want more, more, more. And so it's kind of a beautiful thing to lose because you stay humble. And that humility and slower growth will outpace anybody with quick gains. The problem being is that it's going to take a year, 5 years, 10 years, maybe 50 years. And it's so hard for people to see that far into existence. They want to see tomorrow. We are wired to see tomorrow. We're wired to see the next thing. We're wired to stay in the moment, right? That's what everybody says. Live in the moment. It's worth remembering the past. It's worth thinking about the future too. So I'm looking at this and there's these upticks in the reserve list. And the other thing I'm noticing too is it's a lot of new people. There's social media platforms out there where, it's the most ridiculous thing to me, where literally it's about like counterfeit cards. And that's great. We want people to know information out there and to understand what is a fake card and what is a real card. We get it. But people are like taking pictures of cards and putting it online saying, is this a fake card? And there are so many different tests you can do with a card that involve having it physically in front of you than just putting it online. I mean, if you take a picture of it and you put it online, when you look at the card, it can look real even though it's fake. Who knows? Maybe there are people out there that test it. They put up a fake card. Does this look real? And, you get everybody commenting and all the people that just live on social media and do nothing with their lives. And it's like, learn like what you need to do physically there in the moment with confidence and understand, am I dealing with a newer card? Am I dealing with an older card? Is it real? Is it fake? These are things you can learn, but people want to take the jumps. This has been a really scattered video. Listen, all I'm saying is there are two things happening right now. Number one, newer people. There are so many newer people that are part of this and that are into this. Number two, there's a ton of gamblers in this space right now. I don't see things crashing this year or anything like that, but I would say with those two components growing in this space, it's not looking good. And I'm not saying it's going to crash now. We could go 5 years on this bull run. But I do believe there is some form of pain coming. It could be years from now. When people screw around like this, it creates opportunities for those that are not screwing around. And these are all the thoughts I had just listening to the fact that literally people are incentivized to gamble more, to throw their money at the wall more. I mean, in a way, I guess that's what keeps the economy going. In a way, that's what keeps humans striving. You keep that wheel turning. But how much good are we really doing here? And I'll tell you, when an event happens that just crushes people's souls, I'll be there to buy whatever I can get. BBB. Big Busty.